Red light means
Oh, we're on?
we're on.
Wow.
We are on the internet. We are live.
There was no downtime.
There's no
between
downtime.
me getting back from the bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan.
I'm Kai.
And this is Demos in the Dark Live. This is our third that we've done.
That's right.
My in-ears are stuck. This is our third that we've done. And we got more to come. But this is the one that I feel like I've been working myself up to.
Is that right?
Yeah, because this is the one that I feel like if we screw this up, like, we won't be allowed to show our faces in this town again.
Oh, okay. In Savage?
So tonight we have a legendary recording artist, Mr. Brian Fallon, is in. But first, where is it?
There it is.
I'm gonna get it.
Oh
First
you're
is
nailing
the sweet theme song that I need to update with your face on it. Hey, here
I
we
hope
go.
you never do.
All right, we did that.
That was wonderful.
We have yet to do that smoothly. All right, so let us
It's
bring in.
episode 3.
Let's bring in someone who I am honored to call a friend and just a great all-around dude and great songwriter, great guitar player, and
Yeah.
total
Piano player. Come on.
gear
He does it all.
fanatic,
Yeah.
Mr. Brian Fallon.
Woo!
There he is.
There he is.
All right.
Hey.
How you doing? Are you in Jersey or are you on the road?
I'm in New Jersey
All right, man.
with a tornado watch. happening.
Hey.
Oh.
So we're in
Yeah.
your basement?
Yeah, I don't have a basement.
Oh,
we live in
you're
the
just
beach.
letting her
There's
rip.
no. Well, in the beach, there's no basements because of the sand. So
That's
you're
right.
just kind of like
You just kind of
sort
dig a
let-
hole,
Yeah.
dig a hole, put yourself in.
Nah,
it
you
up.
just sort of. I mean, if it comes through, you shake its hand, and that's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing to do. That's between, that's out of my hands now.
Yeah.
It's above my
It's-
pay grade.
Yeah, this is where faith comes in, Kai.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If it comes through the house, I'll see you later. Nice
Yeah.
knowing you.
And this will go viral. At
That's
that
right.
point.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And,
we
It
will.
will. So
I am
It's
a
for the next
retired
hour.
pastor, so if you need any last rites as it comes through, I don't believe in that,
Yeah.
but we can hook you up.
you I didn't know you could retire from the cloth.
Yeah, well, I'm sure trying.
Well, you got to tell me more about that. So you're a full-time
Yeah,
pastor?
This is a show about me now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
Do a quick segment. Give us a quick segment.
So one before you give your segment,
Yeah, yeah.
one great thing about Kai being of the cloth is that when you're driving down the freeway and you see those signs that are like, "Are you going to hell?" or whatever, and they'll be like, "Call 1-800 whatever."
855-4-TRUTH.
Yeah, he calls them.
Yeah.
Like that's a tour gag.
Mhm.
Like he calls,
Yeah.
and then because he has a
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There's only one of those in New Jersey. There's
Okay.
one.
one outside of
And,
Chris Christie's
yeah,
house.
it's right. I don't know where he lives. It's
Well,
right
now
as
you
you
do.
come in. Right. So right as you come in from New York, right by Newark Airport. It's
Oh.
like it's like if you died tonight,
Yeah.
where would you go?
Yeah.
Call like
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got
which-
the lovely pastoral scene and then the gates of hell.
No, it doesn't have that. It's like
Oh.
I don't. It's not so shocking. It's just like big words. It's not like you see in like Kansas when it's like
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
Or Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's not. It was never my. I grew up in a very religious house,
Sure.
but it was a lot not like that.
Yeah.
So it was never.
Yeah.
My mom was like, she's like, if you take care of people, maybe feed the homeless and stuff, you probably don't have to worry
Yeah.
about that sign.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's like, maybe don't cuss so much. I was like, okay.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was so
Yeah.
okay. So you would call.
Oh yeah,
these,
I'll
these,
call him.
So
I'll
go ahead.
call him and be like, they'll be like, "Hello, this is Jeremy," and I'm like, "Hi, Jeremy. I'm just calling. I'm curious about what you do. Tell me how you got into this. Start learning a little bit about them, learning about how they got hooked up with this organization,
Okay.
using their own tactics, and then we'll talk for about probably 10 minutes, and then I'll interrupt them with, like, let's say I call the "When you died, you know where you're going" one. I saw your
Sure.
sign. Curious about what you think about that. And then midway through their answer, I'll just be like, "Why do you think time is more powerful than God?"
And what do they say though? Does
Well,
that
they go,
like
"Oh, I
throw
don't
them off?
understand." They go, I don't understand." I'm like, "Well, you think the moment when I die has the ultimate control over whether or not I go to heaven or hell, and so apparently that's more powerful than the love of God." He's like, "No, no. Well, I mean, like, you've been given free will and we're born sinful and whatever." So I don't know. It's just a ton of fun. Or yeah, yeah. They're
I
usually
mean,
they get a
there's
little
other
flustered.
things to do.
Yeah,
Sure. They.
yeah,
I feel like. The maybe the souls. Let's call them souls
yeah,
behind the phone. On the other end.
yeah.
Oftentimes I find have not been what I would call the most what do you call it, experienced
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
Like I've not seen many things outside of perhaps the youth group or
Right,
such,
right.
Yeah.
The
which
phone line is their ticket to the world.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think
I
that maybe
agree
maybe
with
they
you.
could watch like a movie. You
Yeah,
could see maybe even watch a little TV like
I've heard you can enter "Where am I going" in the Google.
get out of here,
Yeah, I'm not. Look, I
and
don't.
it tells you up or down instant.
Yeah, yeah. No, just
I feel
immediately, just
there's
immediately.
such gray.
It's just a
There's so
coin.
many
Yeah.
gray. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah,
well, you're going up.
yeah.
You're going
That's
up.
why Bing didn't catch on. They just told everyone they were going to hell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
yeah.
I mean, hey, you got to go somewhere, right?
Mhm.
It's,
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, can't all
Oh,
be winners.
man,
Yeah.
Why do these always get off on just a really weird
This one was
start?
No,
my
I
fault.
this is not weird, and I
No.
think it's fine. Like
Okay.
I would never call those numbers. I would be terrified.
Oh,
to
it's
call.
very fun. It's very fun.
How did we even end up talking about that?
Did you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
It's fine.
So-
Well, I'll tell you. Here. How about this? I mean, like I think it's one of those things that people have to deal with when they're driving. It's a part of driving,
Right.
especially through the Midwest. It's just a natural part, and we're helping them navigate their lives. So now
That's
we'll
right.
help navigate a different part of their
Yeah.
life.
And if
So
you're
if
ever
you
bored,
see,
if you're ever
if
bored, you just call them and put a quarter in them. Like, you talk to them for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you're like, in the original Gospel of Mark, there's no resurrection, right? And then you get to just listen to him talk for a little bit.
and you got to understand that in the real brass tacks of all this, boiling it down to one or two words here, is Jesus doesn't have phone, no cell service in heaven. So
It doesn't even have socks. So
you got to no socks. You got to
No.
figure it out
yeah.
yourself. Curious about God? You know what I would do? A commercial. I would go, "Hey, everybody, curious about God? We all are.
You may be entitled
Guess
to
what?
compensation.
You may be entitled to compensation, and here's the answer. I figured out life. Go figure it out yourself.
That's
Peace."
right.
And that's it. That's
Yep.
all you got to do.
Yep. And then you send a surge of power and just break their TV, so they got to go outside.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, all right.
It's fine.
So
We'll take it
anyway,
from here,
so-
Ryan. You're good.
So you do demos in the dark. Why not in the light? You got like an eye thing?
Well, he called and he found out where he was going.
Oh,
Yeah.
big help.
Mhm.
No. I when I started, I didn't know how to use a camera, and
Yep.
I was loaned a camera, and that camera was set with it was set to a relatively low ISO.
Oh,
and-
oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. We don't know what that is.
and so
Us normies.
Internet search.
yeah, all I know is it makes things brighter or darker, and so
Okay.
it was set low. Like I think it's like the amount of light that the lens lets in.
Got ya.
Internal sunshine oscillator.
So I don't know if I could do this with both of you guys being just so straight faced the whole time. So and I didn't want to mess with it because I didn't know how to mess with cameras, and it was on loan, so I just left it, and it was already in a low lit room, and so it was just very, very dark, and so I decided to call it Demos in the Dark to kind of call out the trolls before they could call me out.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Has that gone well?
No, I still get that question, like, why in the dark? I'm like,
Yeah, you just did.
I did.
I think it's cool though. Like it's unique, you know. Like it sets yours apart from everyone else's, which is cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know what?
But
This is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this because someone had. My friend Mason here. Hello from Ohio. Say love the pedal amp cabinet in the background. Okay, that's great. You and I and Kai were talking ahead of this that you are an accomplished amp builder at this point because you are building amps for a known recording artist, i.e., yourself.
myself.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I am accomplished. I am accomplished. I've done it many times accomplishably.
How did you?
Successfully.
How did you? First off, where did the desire to build your own amp come from? And then second, like once you did that, once you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this. How did you even get off the ground on that?
All right. So what happened was I went to school for audio electronics in cars. So like basically anything that would do the electronic system in a car, I learned how to fix it or modify it or whatever, you know, like for systems or remote starts or alarms or that kind of stuff. So I went to school for that. And then somehow with what I retained during that, doing that for a job for a while, once I got into a band, I realized that, you know, my amps would break on tour, but I only had one amp. I couldn't afford to have another one. So I learned how to fix them. And that's where it started, like kind of, you know, going in that direction. It was a desire to keep them running and not have like it be a problem where it would stop a show. So that's sort of how it came. And then how did I get there? I took what I knew from the electronic school and I started reading books. And a lot of people kind of make fun of the books, but the Gerald Weber series of books, the like a hip desktop reference for tube amps, and like his other, he has like the three first ones are the best ones for the learning, but then after that he's got a couple too. People give it a lot. Aspen Pittman, you know, the tube amp book. A lot of people like say like, oh, that stuff, but that's where I learned how to do like my first mods, and I bought I had a reissue Bassman, and something went wrong with it. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna gut it, and I just ripped everything out and started. You know, I bought like, you know, Hoffman amps, like the Forum, the EL34 World. Yeah. So like I went and found one of his boards by a place called, I think like the Airtight Garage, who built like boards, you know, and so he had the board laid out, and then he, you know, sent it to me, and then I wired it up, and you know, and it didn't work at first, but I figured it out. I don't know, just trial and error. But the first thing I learned was how not to die.
Yeah,
I was gonna say trial and error works for a lot of things, but only up to a certain point when you hit the big errors in amp building. So like I'm curious about that, you know, that first one that you did, or like the first time you bring an amp that you built or repaired to a show, and you're essentially just going, hope this works. Like, how did you?
And also, you know,
like, and I hope I don't die.
Also,
it's kind of the big one for me.
And also, like the first amp, like, are these amps that you're building? Are they like clones of other amps, or are you like adjusting different values and stuff like that to really kind of dial in the sound that you want?
Most of them are just like, what I want but can't afford. So like if I don't have really any interest in being like, like train wreck or like Benson or anything like that, because I can't. I
Take
just
that,
don't. I don't
Chris.
want to
Who
think.
wants to be Chris
Yeah.
Benson?
No, I mean, like, I don't want to like invent a new way of doing anything, because I think that the way that it is sounds pretty righteous, and I don't think, like, for me, it's just there's nothing. I'm getting what I need out of, like, like an AC-15 or a deluxe reverb. Like, that's what the sound I want. So I don't really feel the need to like change the whole circuit. I will though. I'll change certain things depending upon the application. So I'll modify them in a different way. Like sometimes you compare, like, okay, so people are always talking about like the brown panel and the black panel and the tweed deluxes, right? So I sort of found a way by looking at the schematics, and actually Chris Benson was sort of got me thinking this way about like mixing them together and saying like, well, the power amp of the brown panel mixed with like the earlier black panel, front end, and you mix those together and you sort of get the best of both worlds, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And it works. But the big thing is, like with the Gerald Weber books, right in the beginning, it tells you like there's a very clear way how not to get killed. And like you use a digital multimeter, and you use alligator clips, and there's not a lot of error room. If you like, you're not gonna, unless you're just being careless, you're not gonna get shot.
I'm sure I can screw up using a multimeter.
I
think about.
Like DC. Set it to DC, not AC.
I had a car amp, CARR, CARR.
Oh,
and
I thought you were gonna stop at car, and I was like, that's cool.
And I think I was going to, I don't remember what I was doing. I think I was just biasing it, which the amp has to be on to do a bias.
Yeah.
And I think I like dropped something, and I did the thing where it was like, one hand
hand
in the pocket. And but then like I think I dropped like my screwdriver, and I had one of those little screwdrivers because you turn in the thing, and I think I dropped it, and I was like,
no.
And I woke up on the ground.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy.
Oh, yeah,
It'd be weirder if you woke up somewhere else.
It was super crazy. We actually have some questions here about this.
It'll knock you over, though, really.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
My friend Franklin Gappa, did stop at amps. Do you ever mod pedals or work on your own guitars? He's a huge fan, by the way.
Thank you.
And that is true. Because when I think the first time that you and I, like, for whatever reason, publicly, like, made it known that we were talking to each other, like, Franklin was like, "What?" So he is a big fan.
Cool. For me, I do swap out. Like, I'll work on my own guitars. I don't do like major stuff. Like, I don't file the nut. But I do. I can adjust I change pickups out. I change the electronics, rewire them all the time. Matter of fact, I just did that to one today. I put one of Josh's Righteous Sound sets in a Telecaster. Yeah.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Great, because I'm
so
a fan. Like, he really makes great pickups. I put the Revelator set
nice.
Right here, and I have a couple of his sets, but they sound awesome, and especially in this one, I had this one telly that sort of, it didn't sound like it should, and so I swapped them out. Now it sounds great.
Is it nearby? I want to see the telly. Tell me about the telly.
It's right here.
I feel like
it's this guy.
Oh yeah,
ooh, that'll do.
It's
the bound
an
one.
Esquire. Yeah, it's the double bound. It's like an Esquire that actually, that Chris Fleming, it's one of the last like 10 that he built before he left.
Wow.
So it came, it has the Esquire pickguard it came with too. But I bought it because I like this color, and it looks like John Frusciante's. So I was like, I like that. Turns out it's a great guitar.
Yeah.
And I got it.
Who knew?
So
Chris Fleming
Who knew?
Can figure it out.
Master builder or whatever.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So, I know he's not watching. But
Chris Fleming? He's here.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep using that joke every episode.
I
got Paul Waller over there too.
Oh, nice.
Talk to him. Yeah.
Is he the guy who makes the
white chicken?
No, Paul Waller is the other. He's the senior
Yeah,
senior
Yeah.
master
but they
builder
made
now,
he
I
made
guess.
a White Falcon Telecaster that he called the White Chicken,
Oh.
and it's just burned
Oh.
into my brain.
He's making that Rocky one. He's famous for, I think, making the George Harrison, the Rosewood
The
tones,
Rosewood,
which
yeah.
I have one of his of those,
Oh,
but not the George Harrison one. It's
I'm
not the
sure
George.
it's the
It's
Brian
just
Fallon.
but it's got a different neck on it. So.
Yeah. So we,
Go ahead.
and this is the thing I just want to point out on this. Josh at Righteous Sound comes up almost every one of these, because his pickups.
Does he really?
Yeah, because his pickups are just that.
I got.
good.
Look
They're
at
just-
this. I got all Josh. I got his humbuckers right here. The RAFs. I got everything. What do you need, Josh? I send you Josh's. Why does he come up so much?
Because I have his pickups in almost every single one of my guitars. At this point.
You know.
Because he's great.
Yeah. He is great.
We got another question. We got a lot of questions that I think are more about kind of you as a person, and I want to stick with some of the gear stuff for now.
I'm curious. Oh yeah.
So here we go. How involved are you in the audio engineering of your records, and how have you grown as a producer from the early TGA days till now? More digital versus analog, or how do you feel about that? Are you in the Jack White camp where I feel like he's analog just to freaking prove a point?
No. I mean, right now as it goes, I just worked on my first thing that was totally by myself. So that was crazy to record and mix and everything by myself. I didn't master it. I sent it away.
Yeah.
I get pretty involved now, but I don't really get in the way of the producer. So even with like in the Gaslight days, I would always stay out of it. I felt like my job was to show up and have the best sound I could and sit in the mix immediately and not be. I always wanted to give the minimal amount of fuss to someone else.
Yeah.
Play your part, know it really well, sit down, do it, and then get out of the way.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
So my question then is, what were your tricks, or what did you listen for to find the place where you were going to sit in the mix? Like, or what would you prepare to when you got in there go, okay, this is the sound, I know this is going to sit well?
The biggest thing was to listen to what was going on in the room. Like you have your gear, and like a lot of times you can't choose your gear. So you sort of have to know it really well. And I think that's a thing that's a little bit lost today. There's like a lot of accumulating gear without actually knowing the gear that you have. And because you're surprised, I've been guilty of this. I've been surprised to know where I've bought things multiple times, simply going, I could have known this the first time if I would have spent more time on it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get into a situation, you have to listen to the other players and find out, like, when you're listening back to the initial take of the people playing, and you sort of got to go like, all right, is the bass player, am I too bassy? Am I stepping on the, snare drum? Like, I always feel that like a good like rhythm guitar track should sit, whether it's acoustic or electric, it should sit right in with the hi-hat. So almost so you don't notice it, like Tom Petty, you never hear Tom playing guitar unless you listen for it. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Same with even like David Gilmour, like, and if you listen to that song Time, you barely hear his guitar with the organ. It's like, except for when he does like a little lick, but that's the best, I think.
Yeah. You don't notice it until you take it away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You have to listen. You have to listen, and then you adjust your amp accordingly. And a lot of the times, if you solo out like a guitar part, it'll sound really nasty, like trebly or really thin, but it sits great in a mix.
Yeah. That is, I feel like that where that comes from is the thing that separates the mature players from the immature players. Where you like your duty in your mind, your duty is to the song. Like you are there working for the song, not the song is working for you. Like so. And that's a thing you just can't you can't teach. And if you were doing that in the Gaslight days, you've had that attitude for a long time since you were young.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I don't know. Like, I mean, I can play, leads and solo. I just don't do it very often. I mean, now I do a little more live because I kind of like to jam, but
Yeah.
not then. I didn't. I kind of just kept everything in the pocket, and that was kind of my role.
Oh no.
But I also found that work in any setting. The what?
We lost you for a
a
little
second.
bit, but
Oh.
you're back.
The more I found, the more that you can make something work in any setting, the more employed you'd stay.
Mhm.
So I found that to be the great motivator.
Yeah, absolutely. Lucia would like to know how many guitars you own, and we talked about this a little bit at the beginning. And Jimmy Brom would like to know what your first electric was and your first acoustic was.
I think I own 9 guitars total, including acoustics and basses.
Okay.
Then my first one was a Charvel. I had a Charvel Strat copy.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
San Dimas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great, and it was like a maroon, beautiful guitar. And that's, and I'm glad you asked this next question. What would I want Fender to send me right now? A Jazzmaster. That's what I want. That's what I'm missing, obviously.
Yeah.
Professional musician. So go ahead.
I think
Need a custom shop Jazzmaster.
I'm missing a Jazzmaster too.
Yeah, I don't have one.
All right.
Jazzmaster's for everyone.
Fender, are you there? Round of Jazzmasters.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey. Fender guitars.
Let's see if my guy Steven's watching. Steven, take
we,
note.
If we say their name, I hear if we say their name 3 times in a mirror, they'll give us.
Yeah, if you say your Fender rep's name 3 times. Steve.
Mike Schultz.
I don't have one.
Mike.
So do I just make one
fine.
up? If I say a fake Fender rep into the mirror, do they appear?
Yeah.
Devin.
You just create a Fender rep. Yeah, that's what one of the weird things about doing the demos in the dark thing is that I have a Fender rep, and I'm like, I'm just
awesome.
he's a dude. He's in Nashville, and
tell him to send me a Jazzmaster.
I will.
What's the deal? Yeah, say what's going on.
Brian, I got nothing so far.
I know, so send 2, 3.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, and so my only goal when I talk to him is to just try to be what I assume is less demanding than who's that guitar guy that looks like Jeff Gordon?
Joe
I don't know
Bonamassa.
what Jeff Gordon looks like.
I don't know who Joe.
How
I don't
do
know
you
who
know
Jeff
what
Gordon
Jeff
is.
Gordon looks like?
I don't think, are people demanding? Like, I don't really know.
Well,
'cause
this
I
guy
don't feel
can.
that.
This guy, he has his own.
Jeff Gordon will take as many as he can fit in that.
If you're in the
that little
comments
car
and
he
you know
drives.
who I'm talking about, just because he's like one of the biggest country guitarists out there.
Joe, I don't
Paisley.
know. Joe
Brad
Bonamassa.
Brad Paisley.
Yeah,
Brad Paisley.
Brian Paisley.
Brian
What?
Paisley.
Brandon Paisley.
Yeah.
Brandon Paisley.
I think Jeff Gordon looks like
What
him,
about
for the
Josh
record.
Smith? Is that his name? Josh Smith?
Yeah, he's a guitar player that exists.
He's a pretty good guitar player, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he's a Fender guy, though.
I've seen him on YouTube.
The interweb.
Nah.
We happen to be
He
there
is.
right
He is
now.
he is a Fender guy because I just saw him doing an ad for those Danocaster Buds pickups. I
Okay.
just saw him doing a.
Alright.
That is one of his licks.
So
Yeah, it's a lick. It's a good lick.
that was a good Brent Mason. No, not Brent Mason. He's great. I love him.
Yeah.
Didn't we see Brent? We saw Brent Mason.
We
Yeah, he was
we
great.
stumbled into a random bar in Nashville, or maybe you know where we were going.
We don't have to look. The best guitar player in the world is Derek Trucks, and that's the end of the
My
conversation.
guy,
So
my
anybody
guy.
else doesn't have to
Thank
talk
you.
about it.
Mm,
He's the one.
that's it.
And then,
And
but
then,
I do
who's
like
your number 2?
John Pasante.
Oh,
I don't think, but I'll tell you this: I don't actually think that John's the best guitar player in the world. I just think that John's a a great, cool guitar player.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
he's a very, like, the thing about Pasante that is that's amazing is that you know exactly, like, he could play on anybody else's record, and like when you hear him, you know, it's like Jeff Beck has the same
Right.
thing. Eddie Van Halen had that.
Yeah.
But
like, you know,
Frusciante has like half of the like harmonic vocabulary that those guys have, and then also he plays up. You're like, yep. What's
Frusciante.
up, John?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I was gonna go down.
Oh, real quick, you asked me. Real quick, you asked me before, do I modify pedals? Absolutely not, because it's too small, and the pedal's too small. I can't. I always burn the wires and the traces. And my friend Mike is the best pedal modifier that I know. So I leave all modifications to him. I send it real quick, right up to Connecticut. He sends it right back super fast. That's the guy.
So you're the reason I don't have a King of Tone yet.
Yeah.
Because you keep.
You
sending
could get
me
one.
pedals.
You get one. You
Yeah,
gotta get one.
The wait list is like
I know.
2.5
That's what I'm saying.
years right
That's
now.
what I'm saying. If
No,
Brian would stop
it's
sending him
not.
pedals to mod,
It's not. It's
I've
the.
moved-
It's not if you're
the-
Brian
I've moved
Fallon. If
twice.
you're Kai Brewster,
I've
it's
moved
2.5
twice
years.
since I've been on the wait.
No. But believe it or not, I bought mine on Reverb many years ago. So I didn't even wait. I can't be bothered with that waiting.
No, that's
That
fair.
2-year waiting list, I can't.
Yeah.
So I emailed that, Ron Ellis? He was like, it's a 6-month waiting list. I said, nah, I'll catch him on Reverb. I'll pay double. I don't care.
So this,
I never got this. I never bought the Ron Ellis pick. I was just making a joke.
Well,
I didn't
Ron,
buy
if
him.
you're watching,
This is-
that is a
Then,
threat.
no, Ron, if you're watching, you don't care what I say because you have Julian Lodge with you. So
Yeah, that's fair.
that's
That's
true.
really fair.
Julian also comes up. I feel like Julian and Derek come
Yep.
up a lot.
Well, why wouldn't
Julian's great. I like Julian a lot. Great guitar player.
Just plays through a little champ? Love
so
Beauty.
so one of my favorite, and I feel like he did this a little bit ago, and I was gonna point it out then, but he'll do this thing where he kind of like sets you up and then shoots you down. And my favorite.
Are you talking
was-
about
Who
Brian
does
or
it?
Julian
Yeah,
Lodge?
I'm talking about Brian.
Oh, okay.
So my favorite was one night we were talking about different sounds on different records and stuff like that, and how you would achieve those. And at one point he was like, yeah, well, you know, he brought up like a Heartbreakers kind of sound, and I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, Mike Campbell used such and such, you know, thing on there. I don't really even remember what pedal we were talking about, but you were like, no. You're like, no, it's actually this other one. And then he adds on, I know because I've played his rig. And I was like, oh, come on. We were having a conversation.
Well, now we got to hear about that. Now
Like-
we
Yeah,
gotta
but that's
hear about
not. It
that.
wasn't like it's this. It's like I just happened to play through his
Right,
rig, so
no,
I figured,
no.
why wouldn't I tell you? Like what? Why? You know, I think it would have been lamer if I just would have kept my mouth shut and then been like, yeah, that's what he plays. Sure, he plays a Boss Blues driver, whatever, and let you carry on in your ignorance.
It's a
you know?
metal zone with the gain all the way
Yeah.
down.
Oh, speaking of which, William is on here.
I know. That's why. Yeah.
We did. There's a local guy who's a producer, and he his name is Kevin Bowe. You know Kevin Bowe.
Yeah, I know Kevin.
Kevin Bowe.
Yeah.
In a bunch of shows, he was playing this Epiphone Casino, and I had never played one before. And I came up to him after one of the shows, and I was like, "What's the deal? Like, is this thing like super souped up? What's up with that? Because it sounds great." And he was like, "Nah, man." He's like, "It's exactly what you would get, like right off the shelf. You know, like it's just a cheap Epiphone." And I went, "Oh," I'm like, "So did you get yours right off the shelf?" And he was like, "No, Westerberg gave it to me." I'm like, "Come on!"
Okay. Okay.
It's like,
That's fine.
We were having a conversation as two adults on the same level,
I
and then
feel
you had
like-
to no Westerberg.
I feel like I'm not convinced. Like I think that you know what? I was impressed when I saw them play for that reunion thing.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how good of a guitar player Paul Westerberg is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did not know that he could play like that.
Yeah.
Really cool. Like just not like shredding, but like rhythm. The especially the rhythm. It was incredible. Like finger picking and
Mm-hmm.
hybrid picking. Really, really talented guy. But
what?
anyway, so the Mike Campbell thing.
Thank
Listen,
you.
though, that was a thanks to Fender Musical Instruments, who
Home
brought
of
me
the
to
Jazz
see
Master.
home of the Jazz Master,
Mike Schultz.
Mike
Devin!
Schultz.
Devin!
No, Mike, man of the people. But anyway, so man of the Fender people.
Yeah.
But I got to go see the Tom Petty, compound, and yeah, the Mike Campbell rig. And it was not what you would think. Very cool, small, little tiny amps, little Leslie cabinet, and a way huge camel toe. Terrible name for a pedal. Terrible.
All of their pedal names, way huge if you're watching. Anyone, if Jim Dunlop is watching, we got to do some stuff. Yeah, they got the swollen pickle. They got the camel toe. They're really going for something.
I mean, I feel like a commercial because I'm dying to get these, whatever.
The pork loin. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not into it, but sounded great. Sounded real good.
All right.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for Mike Campbell, I guess I should.
But
the overdrives
white guy
and
dreads
such.
are also good enough for Mike.
Yeah,
Campbell.
that's a good point.
But the overdrives and such, common stuff. That's another reason I like Pasante. Like a lot of Boss.
I'm just fixing my mic here.
Yeah, that's all right.
Say hello.
Joe Walsh is a Boss guy.
Yeah, I don't hate Boss. Matter of fact, I mean it's one of my delays I got right here.
Yeah, man. So
Boss.
you just acquired a new delay today,
Ah.
right?
Well, a couple days ago. Yeah, this is my new one. The Mythos Oracle.
Yeah.
Which this is a good one. You want to get that one.
So
that's a good old tap tempo.
You were saying it was modeled after an 8080, right?
Yeah. The 80 or is it 89? I'm not sure.
Well, there is an 89. The 89.
Which one is it?
The 89 was the smaller, more compact one, where the 8080 was larger. I'm sure there are circuit differences between the two.
Maxon? Is it the Maxon, the big one?
No.
Or is it the Ibanez?
They were both Ibanez.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just asking.
And I'm sure there are circuit differences between the two. I'm sure there are. But same idea, I think.
Yeah. Well, it sounds good.
So it's an analog bucket brigade.
Yes.
Delay pedal.
3 knobs.
3 knobs.
Perfect.
But
tap tempo.
Tap tempo. Tap tempo on
Today's show sponsored by Tap Tempo.
Yeah. And Jazz Masters.
Jazz
Master.
Well, good. Zach does really good work.
He does. I was impressed with that pedal that I don't know the name of that he did with Wildwood. Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Like old.
Yeah. You have to say it as though you're holding a lantern in the fog. You're doing it right. Yeah. That's very good.
I feel like it's like telling a fishing tale, like an
Yeah.
old English doc. Mjolnir. We were walking through the woods and Mjolnir took Jimmy's leg.
I caught one in my net. Couldn't get it free.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So that thing apparently has mythos diodes. But it sounds really, because, all right, so I have been so stupid where I've bought the Klon Centaur 3 or 4 times. Like all throughout the years, like when it was cheap and then when it was not cheap and when I mortgaged a house for it. And then I had the chance recently to buy another one for $5,000. And I said, I don't have that kind of money. No, thank you. And I let it go. I was like, that's ridiculous. But when I put them next to each other, so one time I had 2 clones. I had 2 Centaurs, and then the KTR, and then some clones. And I put them next to each other, and I was doing my own little shootout. This is before, I thought to put this on YouTube. I should have. But that wasn't really a thing then. It's not like I was underwhelmed. Let's just say I sold those things.
Good to know.
Uh-huh.
Do you either one of you two have one?
Yeah. Well, so
What? Oh, you have a KTR.
Yeah, I don't have a Centaur.
Yeah.
I have a KTR in one of the Gaslight lockups somewhere
Yeah,
around the
so-
world. I'm not even sure.
Were you working?
I was, yeah.
Okay. So my day job is I work for a pedal distribution firm called Mass Distro, and
Do you sell Jazz Masters?
no. And Kai used to work. Kai worked there, and then he went on tour and never came back.
Yeah, it's when I went out looking for a jazz master and never came back.
or
That's
a Mjolnir.
or a Mjolnir. Yeah.
I'm just putting up this comment
Yeah.
because it's perfect.
Thank you. It's
Thank you.
iconic.
My leg!
Shout out to SpongeBob SquarePants.
Where's Greg Cock? We need.
That's right.
We
should
need
get
him to
Greg.
get it
we
here.
We
could.
wouldn't have to talk the entire time.
Lester Pauler. I love it. He's the funniest guy.
But we when Klon was our first big client.
Back in the day, in the 90s?
No, this was
KTR days.
Yes,
So,
KTR days. Okay. Yeah.
And I recognize that the circuit is awesome. Like I recognize that the circuit is a great circuit, and it has a sound, and it has an application. I'm sorry.
Put it up. Put it up.
At this
Put it
point,
up.
the comment is, at this point, you need a pedal that makes any guitar sound like a jazz master.
Yeah, it's called a Digitech Whammy.
Well, when I get this Jazz Master, I'll let you know.
Schultz!
I gotta text him like right away and be like, "Hey, what's the deal with this Jazz Master?"
Yeah,
thing?
if Devin doesn't Kool-Aid Man through the wall by the end of this, I'm just not gonna be happy.
Oh yeah. I was watching that Noel Gallagher documentary. Jazz Masters everywhere.
Really?
Nash Jazz Master. Yeah, Fenders, Nash, everything. I don't write off a Nash. Nash is a great guitar.
You think so?
We gotta introduce you to the
Yeah.
Scythe Boys.
Yeah, I played Nash's for a while, and then and then I was kind of like, I became not happy with him.
I know.
I became not.
Okay,
I became,
no. All right, tell
So,
him.
I mean, and
Can
this-
you say? I don't know.
This is.
I'm not
this
trying
is,
to lead you.
This is no.
Is Britain on?
I don't know. It probably not, because he
I
doesn't
don't
care that I
think so.
exist. Nash is and
I like Britain.
Do you?
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
Good. Well, great.
Maybe you can introduce Ryan.
Yeah. So
I can.
they are they're prefab bodies and necks, and then they beat them up
Mm-hmm.
and light them on fire, and then mark them up.
Okay.
$1,000.
Okay.
And I was kind of like, well, that's cool.
They play great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everybody's always like, they're so consistent. It's like, yeah, of course they are.
Right.
And so they have their place. They're beautifully relic. I mean, I will give them that. But I wanted something that was more handmade. Like I wanted like that was more where my interests were going. And so a couple years ago at NAMM, I went through everybody who made F-style guitars by hand and tried them all out.
And who did you try the Nacho caster and all that?
I tried Nachos. They were great.
I did too.
They're super
Mhm.
good. But I wasn't even looking for this guitar. I was at the JHS booth, and they had some guitars there from this little known Kansas City builder called Scythe Guitars. And I'm halfway through like trying out some pedals, and I'm like, man, this guitar is amazing. What is this Soof? And I got back to Minneapolis and called him and was like, let's start build me something. And
They had a waiting list, so he bought one used.
Bought one used, and then they built me my second one, and then I'm actually going down there to film with them next week.
Yeah.
down
And
in
I've got
Kansas
Okay.
City.
I've got a cute little Telecaster on the way from
Yeah,
them as well.
really, really great.
What are
Really
they
great
called?
SEUF, Seif.
SEUF. I'm gonna look this up right now. You know what I'll tell you before I even get to this? You know what my big hang up is?
What?
The headstock shape. I get really weird about a headstock shape.
Should I grab it?
Yeah, grab it.
Yeah.
They're just
Like, so I don't know what this looks like. What is it?
SEUF.
SEUF guitars. Okay.
Grab the OH. Grab the other one.
Well, he's a telly fella.
Oh yeah, you're
Oh.
you looking for telly? Telly style? Or Strat
No,
style?
I got a ton of telly.
All
I
right,
got
got
too
that.
many tellies.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the headstock on the telly style.
I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that.
And
That's
then,
a good one.
We'll just keep these in the shot, cause why not?
And then that it's a little
Okay.
It's a little different than what Fender would do. Bring it
Small
to light,
different.
man.
But then it's so far away, or maybe I'm just far away.
But yeah, it's
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
and then I have they do make a Jazzmaster style.
Jazzmaster.
And I will be picking that up when I go to film there. It's shoreline gold with white competition striping on it.
You like that?
I went with the double bound burgundy mist.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and they mix colors by eye. You know,
Okay.
like they're dudes who are like just really into the art of making cool stuff. And
Yeah, that sounds great. What pickups do they use?
they wind
just
their
curious.
own.
I like that.
They wind their own.
Very good.
They are fantastic. And
Fantastic.
And actually, my Seif guitars do not have righteous sound pickups in them. They have the Seif.
Yeah.
And the Seif pickups that I really like, they call Deacon Blues, and I'm a huge Steely Dan fanatic, so
Okay.
I mean,
So
sold
there
me
you go.
Sold me there.
Well, I'll tell you. You know what pickup sounds great that I found like really, really sounds the best?
EMG.
Practicing.
yeah.
That's a great pickup. So like when you practice,
Hmm.
like even like crappy pickups sound awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody hates that answer.
I love that
Well,
answer.
yeah.
It's
We
a
should
good
do
answer.
we should do a Squire show.
A show about squares?
No, just a
No.
show where we only play Squires.
No, that's a feel thing, though. I think that's a real thing. That's a feel.
Yeah.
Those guitars, the frets feel different. Everything feels different.
Well, I will say, I feel that really a lot of the difference between Fender and Squire is just their quality control. So every once in a while, there is a Squire that is absolute dynamite. They are
Really?
out there.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I believe
I found a Squire Mini with a the mini Strat with a quarter
Mm-hmm.
sun flame maple neck. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a guy who I used to tech for in my late teens, early 20s. Guy named
Our boy Jeremy.
Jeremy Ilvesacker. Played
Yeah.
with Andrew Bird and part
Marty
of
Gosh.
that whole
yeah.
Bon Iver camp, and
Mhm.
he even
Yeah.
played on a Bruce Hornsby record.
Yes, he did.
But
Mhm.
Jeremy,
I like that.
Jeremy has been playing a J Mascis Squire
hmm
Jazzmaster
And an Epiphone SG.
and an Epiphone SG forever. And I last time I talked to him about it, I was like, "Did you do anything special with him?" He's like, "Huh." But he's just a good guitar
He's
player.
just very good.
Like he's just
Yeah.
a really good. I need all the help I can
Oh,
get
God.
when it comes.
I
to
haven't
Sure.
been plugged in years, but the pickups, man, they make a difference.
And that's fine.
Speaking of not being plugged in,
Yes.
you've been doing
So
a lot
much
of
acoustics.
Oh, there we go.
doing a lot of acoustic stuff, like solo stuff.
So
like,
much.
How's that going? Do you like that? I always
I
feel
do.
like naked and weird without a band there.
No, I got into I felt that way in the beginning, and then so what I did was I said, well, I probably could use some lessons. So I learned like the Travis picking thing, and then I started learning like voice leading. That really changed everything because you can make a guitar sound like a piano. It's the way that like Jeff Buckley plays, or when you hear Tom Waits playing acoustic guitar, that style where
Yeah.
it sounds like there's a band or not a band, but they're just there's a bass line and a
Mm-hmm.
melody, and it's going with you
Mm-hmm.
just by playing, and that sort of overcame that. Um, Acoustics are great. I have a really cool 12 fret, like real small body Martin, and then I've got like another slightly larger 14 fret Collings. That both of those are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collins
Super
can
cool.
Collins can
Yeah.
make a guitar too.
They do okay.
They do okay.
Yeah.
They
Not
do
as good
great.
as the
I'll tell you.
Acoustasonic Jazzmaster from Fender Guitars.
Or just
I-
a
I-
regular
I-
jazz
exactly right.
master.
Okay, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
This is
Hold on, before you
yeah,
get to that question,
you go.
I'm not going to ask a question. I am just going to talk to anyone who happens to be watching. We're going to wrap up here in a little bit, and I always like to save the last 10 minutes or so for questions, because we eat up so much time just asking dumb questions.
I can't believe it's been an hour.
Yeah, so if you
Wow.
got questions, put them in now. If they're good, I'll pick them.
Bring them.
All right, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier. I talked to our mutual buddy and your bass player Nick Salisbury earlier
Yes.
today, and I was like, "Hey, I get to meet Brian today," and he was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And before I was gonna ask him for some things about like what does Brian want to talk about? What should we do? What kind of guy am I getting into? He just launched right into how much he loves you, and how easy it was to strike up a friendship with you. And then one of the things that he said he admires most about you, that you just touched on a little bit, is like
His tattoos.
your tattoos and your dedication to the Fender Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
But your continued dedication to learning new things about the guitar, like either at the craft of playing guitar or the craft of constructing guitar or songwriting or any of that. And I'm just curious about like where, when that sort of like, because I look at all of the groups you've had, I look at all of the different styles of music you've played and all of that, and I'm just so curious about your curiosity and your drive and where those come from.
I've had that since I was little. Like when I was really young, I sort of, okay, I think my first thing that I got into was like, maybe like 50s music. Like my mom would sing like the hymns and stuff.
Mhm.
And I immediately tried to replicate what I was hearing with my own voice. And then I got into like the, whatever records like that were around, like 50s, like doo-wop records, like, Richie Valens and stuff. But I was like really struck by those sounds of like the Righteous Brothers and like the way they would do that. And it like, my mind was like, how is this happening? Like with a human voice, like how do you go or whatever? And then it just like went on. And like every time I would hear like a thing on guitar, I'd be like, well, that's cool. Like how do you do that? And I'd start deconstructing it. Cause I guess I was never into like, I don't know any of the like shred records. I don't really care. It's cool. Like I like it. I like listening to it, but I kind of like see that that's not for me. Like I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who are so good at it that I try to deconstruct the things that I feel I can, I don't know, tackle, but I don't know what that is. Like music is so, it sounds like kind of stupid to say, but it's so nuts that like we make music from nothing, like human
Yeah.
beings. And like, why does like one sound, like if I hear this sound, like especially like I got obsessed over this last year with like Ave Maria and songs like that. Like, why does that pull so hard on your heart? And like everyone, it's you could be from like anywhere,
Yeah.
and it just does because it's so beautiful. And why? And so I start deconstructing it, and my curiosity is endless. I don't know,
Nice.
but it
love
keeps me happy.
That's good.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
No complacency with Mr. Brian Fallon. Got a question here. The final chorus in a lot of your songs is usually different than the others. Is that something that just happens over the course of the songwriting process, or is it intentional?
No, it's intentional. Because I always feel like there should be an outro because I really love Mariah Carey, and like pop music always has a coda, like an outro. There's always a riff. Like even if you listen to like the new, I don't know if anybody's a fan of the new like the new John Mayer song, that like Last Train Home.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, is that what it's called? Last Train
Yep.
Home? So like on the end of the song, like he's singing the song,
Does
right?
he sound
But
like he
then
has a
all of a
pork chop caught in
sudden,
his throat though?
Of course.
what?
It's a pork
No,
loin.
it's a good
way
song.
huge
It's a
pork
good
loin.
song.
All
Don't.
right.
It's a good song. Don't just throw it away. Like it. When you get to the end of the song, there's like another hook that comes in
Mhm.
where he repeats the same line, and then like there's these other voices that do this cool harmony, and it's like it just keeps you listening. Like it's
Yeah.
like yeah, all right.
Well,
It's like a send off.
I grew. My mom raised me listening to Motown music and a lot of Stevie Wonder. And one of the things I never realized about Stevie Wonder until I actually stopped and noticed it is like Stevie Wonder's last chorus is always like 30 choruses,
Mhm.
and he just builds on top of it and top because that's all
Yes.
anybody wants. Is
Yeah.
chorus.
Or the outro of I Wish. Brand new hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
You got to have a brand new hook.
Mhm.
Yep. Back to my buddy Franklin. He would like to know what was your most enjoyable record you ever made. Enjoyable.
Yeah.
Ooh,
We may have to parse
enjoyable.
that word.
Oh, you know what? Like enjoy it, like
You'd be
easily
like the one that made me the
enjoyable?
most money.
No, it wasn't. I will tell you that both. Well, I would say I don't know if I could say one record, but I know 59 Sound was awesome to make because we knew that something was going on, and we didn't know that anybody would know about it, but we were having a good time because we were
Yeah.
like, wow, this is pretty cool. And then the Painkillers record with Butch Walker was a blast.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
real fun. Just I don't know, like while I was watching, like that was fun on a different level because I had like Cat Popper was playing bass on that, and
Mhm.
like Mark Stepro played drums, and watching these people play because they're on another level. They're so far advanced.
Yeah.
That like watching and then hearing it in your own song, you're like, whoa, it sounds like like that. It sounds like Jackson Brown's bass player. That's cool. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just happening right in front of you.
Cat Popper is insane. I lived in Brooklyn for a little while, and I had
Yeah.
some mutual friends with her, and she's unreal. She's so
Great,
good.
great bass player.
I've never had that experience, and I have heard, like interviews with guys from Pink Floyd when they were talking about working on Dark Side of the Moon.
Mhm.
Interviews with the folks from Queen when they were working on Night at the Opera, and like they say stuff like, we just knew, like we knew when we were working on that record that it was gonna be a thing, and I've yet to have that in my life where like
Because you put me in your band.
it might be where like any record, like even other people's records that I'm playing on, where I'm like, this is groundbreaking, like this is gonna change the world, and I have yet to have that.
You got to look for it. You
Yeah,
gotta keep looking for it.
I guess
It'll come.
And so that brings another album question. Amy wants to know if your next album is going to be acoustic style like Local Honey, because she happens to love that record.
I love that record too. That was a fun record as well, because that record was a free for all. So that record was just like, that was another fun one where like we tried stuff and it was just like, this is cool. And like especially the drummer Kurt, I would be like, yo, you know what's cool? Go play another track of drums. And let's just like, and then Peter would be like, he'd be like, yeah, go play another track and we'll put one in the left ear and one in the right. And then it'll just play at the same time. And we were just like, yeah, like stuff like that. Like, why not? I don't know. But my next, you know what? I am working on it right now, and this will probably change multiple times, but in my head, what I'm working on right now, it will sound nowhere near as good, but it sounds like, so if you got Local Honey, and then you sort of put a little bit more of that, like, I guess, George Harrison, like,
Oh, that guy.
while my guitar gently weeps era thing, like if that makes sense
Yeah.
to what I'm saying, like, so that's like where it's sounding in my head right now. I don't
like
know if that's going to be, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting question here. And the person had a follow up to that that outro thing. He said that Horses is one of those songs with a brilliant outro.
Yeah. I
Is,
love that. Let me point that out. That was one of my favorite outros on the whole record. That Horses one.
nice. This is
Ooh,
interesting.
that's a great question.
What is the most iconic song you wish you wrote?
Oh, I usually have like a really good answer for this. Um, I mean, the one that I get like really excited about all the time, it's like it sounds like so silly to say, but like every time I hear Let It Be, I'm like, man, like that's
That's a
four
good
chords
one.
that I have used 9 million
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
but I've never stumbled on Let It Be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have an answer for that?
I don't know if I do. That's a tough
Good
tough one. And I
question.
probably would go McCartney.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you?
I don't know if it's counts as iconic, but I always come back to "I Shall Be Released."
Oh yeah.
Like Bob Dylan's done it, the band's done it. Jeff Buckley, who we mentioned before, has a great version of it. Just gets me.
Yeah, like
I
Lover
love
You
Jeff
Should Have Come
Buckley.
Over
Yeah.
might be one of those.
Yeah,
Oh.
Like
Mhm.
how many freaking transitional chords can you put into a pop tune?
Outro, outro, dare I say?
Oh yeah, big
Yes.
outro too. Big outro.
Yeah.
Layla had a great outro.
Oh
Layla
yeah.
had a good outro, yeah.
Uh,
But
it
like,
was better than the rest of the song.
It sure was.
oh, easy. Big fan of Layla. Big fan.
Just let Dwayne
This is-
play.
This is the first time where I'll tell you the Layla record currently is the first time where I've had to go, great record. Not sure about the guy though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Have
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of
ruining
Tedeschi
it.
Trucks, did you see
Yeah.
they're doing Layla cover to cover?
Yeah, and I love it. I
Yeah.
heard it. I just went to see them like a week or
Yeah, you
so
did.
ago.
I saw that.
They-
I saw that
they-
on the
on the
internet.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played outside in like near me, and I went out to see it. It was cool.
You and I were trading videos a couple weeks ago with like some of my favorite Derek Trucks guitar levels.
Mm-hmm.
I loaned him an amp at a festival once.
You did?
Yeah, because he had like I believe he was playing 3 different shows that day, and he was flying to all of them. And
There aren't enough super reverbs in the world.
apparently his rental didn't arrive.
Oh.
And so at that point, they were kind of frantically running around looking for anybody with a vintage Fender. And I happened to be... I gave him a twin, so it wasn't
Wow.
what he would have wanted.
No.
But okay.
And you got that. No.
What is your I can't wait to hear this. What is your go-to drive pedal when you plug in to play?
Okay, so it's always one of two. There's been two for many years. It's either the King of Tone or it's the old JHS Morning Glory. Those are the two.
So those are both Bluesbreaker pedals. So that's
yeah, and they sound different to me. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there's probably different flavors, but like that general kind of avenue is the avenue that you're most comfortable in.
That's the thing. I don't understand why, but those two pedals have been so consistent for me.
This is exactly what we mean.
Franklin Gappa chimed in again and said he
on the topic of outros.
Yeah, Let It Go from Elsa is should
from
have been,
Frozen
I
or
believe,
iconic songs you wish you
the
wrote.
iconic song that that one was a hit. My kid.
C minor, A flat, E flat, B flat, or something like that. 4 chords I use all the time.
Yeah.
Didn't get Let It Go.
No hits.
Yeah, that's my kid. I not only have a child, but I also have a neighbor child that is here a lot. She's here more than she's home. I feed her most of her meals. And she's a big Frozen.
Yeah.
Does she bring you guitars, jazz masters?
Oh, just
she has locked him out of his own house
that
before,
did happen.
so
That did happen as well.
That's payment enough.
Sounds charming.
Yeah, she is something else.
I think she's watching, so we should watch what we say.
That's fine.
Yeah.
She's 5. She's a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
5, and she's up at 9:05. What's the matter with you?
I get. Yeah.
Wait, I will. I just want to say this though. There is another. There's another drive pedal that I like a lot too. This one. This is the.
Oh, the honeybee.
But
Oh.
but this is the BJFE version. So I guess it's the OG version. I will tolerate a Mad Professor. I do believe that those are good pedals. The Sweet Honey, nice. The other versions, though, I will tell you, they don't sound as good. I've had them.
So
they just don't.
Bjorn Jewell, who's the guy who designed that.
Yeah,
he's
he's
related
great.
to Mjolnir.
He is one of the smelliest people that you will ever meet.
I don't want to meet him.
Yeah.
Why does he smell?
He just stinks. He just stinks like
Really?
like an ashtray that hasn't showered in a long time.
And good for
It's
him.
not I don't think you're gonna get a free pedal from him.
It might be good that we just lost you for a second there. What did you say?
I said I don't think you're gonna get any free pedals.
No,
No.
and I wouldn't expect it. From Bjorn.
Well, this one was a lot.
Even before I made that comment, I wouldn't expect it from Bjorn.
Okay, fair enough.
We were we were in the same.
What
hotel.
about Josh? Will Josh give you free pedals?
Joshua Heath Scott.
Joshua I can't, why is this? If every time I move this way, the thing moves the other way. I don't understand.
Yeah.
This thing.
That's different. What is that?
No, this is the reissue that they just did.
Oh, okay.
These are my two. This is the reissue.
That's a reissue. Morning Glory.
Yeah, of the OG. Like,
Okay.
Wow.
I got this one on Reverb. I missed out. I missed out because I sometimes I'm not on the internet all the time, and I missed out.
That's crazy.
And I said to JH, I was like, "Can I please on their Instagram? Please, can you get me one? I love the Morning Glory." And I got stone cold frozen. Nothing.
It's because
So I
as
said,
usual, he's
what?
waiting right off screen over here.
I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy this on Reverb, and I found it, and it was only like I think it was like I paid like $20 more.
Yeah.
It was okay.
So like I said, I'm going down to Kansas City next week, and I did contact the folks over at JHS and asked if I could swing by, and timing was just not gonna work out on it. But I was definitely I'm interested to see their operation as far as like being a company that produces musical instruments, but also I just wanted to see kind of like their live shows set up and like that whole like they make this look like crap.
Well,
I also make this look
that
like
show is cool. Though.
It is
the
cool.
show that they do. Like I like it. I watch it a lot actually.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty informative.
Yeah, I just watched last week. I watched that whole like 2 hours of Brian Wampler on there, and I was like, I couldn't imagine wanting.
Brian, he's cool. Brian, he says cool things.
I couldn't
like
imagine wanting to watch 2
what I
hours
know
of
of him.
anything, and I did it.
Good for you.
Well, you know what? I anytime I'm doing something, like if I'm building or working on an amp or something like that, I always put on that pedal show, and because they're like so long.
Yeah.
But you just sort of
British.
tune out and then just check. Yeah, my wife is British though, so.
Oh.
But so it's a thing. But but that show and the JHS show, I've found, like, if I'm really trying to find the answer to something, if I'm like, I don't know what delay do I buy this week, and then you're looking between, like that they were helpful with the, do I get the timeline or do I get the DD500? I don't know. And the real answer was just the guy who played the Oracle. That's it. Yeah. Well, sometimes you need a reverse though. You need a reverse. You gotta have one of them.
I agree.
We are 10 minutes over, and I appreciate you sticking around for that. Do you have anything that so far your next record is still in your head? Do you have anything that you want to plug, to anything? Got any shows coming up? Got any?
I'm going to play Ohana Festival, and I'd really like to do it. I mean, Eddie Vedder was kind enough to pick all the bands, and I'm one of them. And I really love to play a Jazz Master.
Yeah!
Let's get a Jazz Master. Come on.
You got enough money, Fender. Send me one.
Pro recording
Can't-
artist looking for a
That's
guitar.
They can't all go.
And, well, I thank you very much for your time, and I thank you for doing this, and I think we can still show our faces in town after this.
I think so.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like that you support Benson and Tim at Milkman. I see them going on behind you. Very cool. I like the show. I watch it on the YouTube.
Oh, that's
I
so
love it.
nice.
Yeah, it's a good show. And I like the pedals that you sometimes have said, what do I get?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
This is
Yeah.
great, man. So thank you, and have a good night, man.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All righty.
You as well. Oh, and the recommendation.
Yeah.
He just went out again. Oh my god. I think
Yeah.
it was to practice.
I think it cut out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we leave it at that? No.
Let's just leave it. Let's leave it. Let's leave it
at
here.
that. Okay. All right.
Something for
Let's leave it
something
weird.
for round two.
No closure
Something for round
No.
two.
No closure for anybody on this.
Your recommendation is of the Hawaiian pizza was great. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's a great pedal.
It was. I
Yes.
bought the pedal
didn't-
and
it
it did
didn't do
exactly
the
what I
thing.
needed it.
It didn't do the
No,
thing that you
I-
wanted it to do.
Yeah.
But I turned the gain all the way down and
Yeah.
it did the thing I wanted.
It's
It was
so
very
good.
cool.
It's
Good.
so good.
And so thank you
Yeah.
and everyone.
I think everybody should
making
have a
that pedal.
Hawaiian pizza. That's
It's a beautiful pedal. Beautiful.
excellent. All right, Brian, I'll catch up with you later.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
And,
man.
if
Nice
you
to
guys
meet
don't
you,
know
buddy.
if you're worried about where you're going tonight, just call that number, okay?
All right. Sounds good. Bye, man.
All right.
All right. We did it.
We did it.
We had Brian
Another
Fallon
one.
on. Man, that's what you call a high profile guest.
Yeah, you look a little sweaty.
I was a little bit sweaty.
Yeah.
So we have an important announcement about if you go on the website or demosinthedark.com, or if you go on YouTube, you will see that the next episode 4 is Chris Benson. But we slid something in
Yes,
between.
we
We have a
did.
3.5
Ooh.
that will be coming up.
Ooh.
And that will be Mr. Scott Marquardt from String Joy
Yeah.
will be in, and we're excited about that.
I think it's appropriate that he's 3.5 because on the balanced light set,
13.5.
you got a 13.5.
Yep.
You got to have it.
And then after Mr. Chris Benson, I just have not updated the website yet. We will have the brothers Frank
That's right.
on. The Frank brothers
Nick,
will be.
John, Tim.
Are there 3 of them?
There are 3. There are twins. They'll be the second pair of twin guitar builders we've had. And then we got John. And we'll talk to John about what it's like being the older brother of twin boys.
And is their last name Frank?
Yeah.
It's a literal company name.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right. So, thank you, folks, for your time. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. And look for the next one coming up here soon. I forgot the date. Scott Marquardt, String Joy.
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. It'll be different.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah.
got. So, thank you, everyone. And,
Send us Jazz Masters.
somebody send that guy a Jazz Master.
Bye.
Bye.